All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Success Podcast. Today I'm joined here with a very special guest. She's one of my students, Nishani Vimala Surya. Nishani, nice to have you here.
Likewise.
Super. So Nishani, now I think we've been having quite a long conversation before this off camera.
Yeah, true.
So we can just pick up where we left off. Now you were talking about anime
Yes.
and you were saying how your son and you
Yes.
watch anime together.
I didn't know the basic of what was anime until I saw it. And I think I really like anime a lot.
Why is that?
I don't know. I find it very realistic. I mean, the way everything is done, especially Naruto. And then Demon Slayer as well.
This is a very interesting start to a podcast. So now,
I guess when you have children as 26, 27, this is what happens to moms like us.
so okay, now you said that you like anime and it's very realistic.
Yeah.
Would you recommend someone, especially kids that are watching the podcast, would you recommend them to watch English cartoons or anime? Anime is mainly Japanese cartoons. So English or Japanese?
It depends what their choices are, but most of the children, they like anime. I think it goes with the generation. Cartoons, I think like it's dying and anime is catching up because it's very unique. I mean, the way they have created it and the actions, the movements, even though you can't understand the language with the subtitles, of course, still kids want to follow it.
The reason I asked that question is now when you watch cartoons like Scooby-Doo or Oggy and the Cockroaches and so on, the takeaway from those, I mean, I love Scooby-Doo, I have nothing against it, but the takeaway from those cartoons was very less. Whereas if you watch something like Naruto, you're constantly reiterated of values like you have to keep practicing, you have to keep doing this, you have to keep working hard if you want to achieve something in life, which is why I pose that.
And also, you have to watch the whole sequence. There's no, okay, I'll miss this, I'll watch from. There's nothing. You miss a lot. So one finishes and it catches up with another episode.
Correct.
So you have to be constantly at it.
Even with watching it, you have to be consistent.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
which is a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take this conversation back to its proper start. Can I have a bit of an introduction about yourself?
Yes, I've been a teacher, an English teacher, for about 27 years. And during my work, I have learned a lot. I have not only given my experience to children, but I have gained experience from children. See, these days I have been doing revision for children, O-levels, grade 8, 7s. You know, you see a lot. There's a difference when you teach them in a class and when you teach them at home. They are more comfortable, they are very open, and they come with different topics. And you also learn. Yeah? I guess that's why I think teachers don't age very quickly. Because of these children. And, you know, I have been teaching for quite some time and I have not, you know, got over it. Where you say, no, I need to retire, I mean, it's too hectic. I would never say that. And while I was teaching, I have 3 kids. And I made sure that they also were not neglected. See, normally people think you work from 7:30 to 1:30. There was nothing like that. I used to work till about 4:35. Yeah. Come home, then see their homework, do the cooking, do the cleaning, do the washing, do everything. And by the time I sleep, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up again at about 4 in the morning to cook again.
Wow.
So that has been like my life for the last so many years. Even though I have my own classes now, I don't teach at school, I still stick to the same routine because now I have more dogs and cats at home as well.
Which school did you used to teach at?
I was initially at Gateway. I was there for about 10 years. And then I joined Horizon. And then I was there for about 10 years as well. And before that, I started in a foundation. I did my foundation in a preschool called Busy Bees. And so I have been slowly climbing up. And that's how I have come here. So now I teach up to O levels, and I do general English for A levels.
General English for A levels.
Yeah.
Nice. What do you enjoy most about teaching?
Mm, it depends. See, when you're in the lower classes doing activities, it's really good. Especially when you teach a lesson and when you have to do pair work, group work. It's very interesting when you observe how they come and accomplish. And then the higher classes, see, these days I've been teaching certain group. I actually had not touched, but I'm touching, only started recently in Excel, O levels. The specification B, specification A. So in that you have to know 10 texts and 10 poems. And that's quite a lot. But watching these TED Talks and telling them stories helps these children to absorb very quickly, very fast. They don't need a tutor or a note. They just kind of put it into their heads and, next minute they have learned it. So that is like unbelievable. So a few days back we had to do this poem called Disabled. And it was to do with this soldier who had lost his limbs during war. And this boy didn't have any understanding about war, nothing. World War One or World War Two. He knows about Hitler. That's another
Everyone
thing.
does.
But he never knew the inside of a soldier's life, how he goes to war, he's signing his death certificate and all. So it was actually, he kind of watched a video and then he read an article. And it took him about 20 to 30 minutes. And then he wrote an essay. And he wrote a very nice essay. And it was a very good essay with good English, with good vocabulary. So that's where, you see the turning point in our lives. If we tell them something, and if they do it, then that's the return you get. And that is a satisfaction that I have.
That's fantastic. So now you said you teach general English, right? Now, when we learn general English at school, more often than not, at least in my experience, what we have had is we get a lot of information about grammar, we get a lot of information about the structure of the English language. How important is it that a student learns the structure and the grammatical aspect of English? And how important is it that they actually put this into practice? And does how our local syllabus is structured give students that opportunity to practice English?
Well, the structure is very, very important for children to know, especially when they come to a stage of A levels. But what I have seen is, in government schools, it doesn't happen. The structure is given somewhere, I think, especially the tenses, around grade 8. Then reported speech, passive voice, and then comes later on. Until that time, they don't know anything. And then they go to tuition classes and they try to grasp, and it's too late. I had a child who wanted to join the KDU. He was supposed to go for an interview, and I think he had a placement test as well. He didn't know anything. I mean, he said, I don't know. I said, so didn't you do for A levels? He said, I did. I failed. That's another story. But I'm struggling to learn. And I kind of coached him for about 3 months. But he couldn't get through the interview. He couldn't speak. So in our schools, we don't do listening, we don't do speaking. But we have a vast syllabus to cover. So with that syllabus, if we can bring in listening, speaking, I think by the time they come to do the general English, they have a better understanding, a better structure of what English is about. Otherwise, it's a struggle.
Because once you leave school, it's very important that you know how to speak English well, isn't it?
True.
So, do you think it's important that students only learn English in this classroom setting, or do you think they should go out of the classroom to learn how to speak confidently as well?
Yeah, definitely they have to go out of class as well, because during those 45 minutes, they do a lot of writing, and that's about it. So they need to know what they have learned. Say, for instance, if they have learned about noun-verb agreement. So only writing is not enough. So they need to speak it out, have an activity, and then maybe catch up on it maybe the next day, have a little activity gathered for the teacher, a prepared one. But that doesn't happen, because of the syllabus. It's always writing. So that is the reason why they don't like English. Yeah.
Yes, that is true. Even when I was in school, English was one of the subjects I used to always bunk.
Okay.
Because one thing was, we knew the English paper was going to be easy for us.
Yeah.
But it was, sitting down there and then learning all those grammatical. Interestingly enough, even my mother is an English teacher.
Oh, okay.
Right? And she used to try so hard to sit me down and teach me all these grammatical structures. She could just not do it. She could not sit me down and get me to learn. It was tough. But I think even what you have seen in school is probably Sinhala speaking students.
Yeah.
Even they don't have a big understanding of Sinhala grammar.
True.
Sinhala grammar is just as hard to them as English grammar. Right?
Yeah.
When you get your Sinhala O-level paper, it's quite tough.
True.
So I see now, even after students have left school and they become adults, when they look for spoken English classes, when they look for places to learn English, one of the questions that even I frequently get is, do you cover grammar? Are you going to teach us all the tenses? As an adult, do you think this is important? I'm not saying if you're trying to be a teacher, then definitely yes.
Yeah.
But in day-to-day conversations, if you're trying to work yourself up in a company, is it important to know the structural aspect or the grammatical aspect of English or the practical one?
To that question, if I ask you, see, you said your mother is an English teacher. So when you were a child, did you speak in Sinhala or English?
Good question. So at home, now my dad comes from a Sinhala speaking background. To be honest, so does my mom. Okay. So both of them come from Sinhala speaking backgrounds. But my mother had this adamant urge that her children have to be fluent in speaking English.
Right.
So she made it a point to keep me in front of her when she was practicing for her speech and drama exams, when she was doing all of her English teaching. I remember even as a kid, she would recite these poems, The Charge of the Light Brigade, right? So I'm a little kid staring at her doing that, right? Day-to-day conversations at home were always in Sinhala. We rarely spoke in English. But there were instances where my mother said, okay, now you have to come down, sit with me. This entire hour, you can just only speak in English.
Right.
And so my practice was built through constant interaction in English. My dad also made a conscious effort to speak in English whenever he could, when he was around us. I think my mom and dad to this day only converse in Sinhala, but when they are with us, they do their best to converse in English. So we used to have time at home as a family where we would sit down over the dinner table, or sometimes when we come home from school, that we would sit, my brother, myself, my mother, my father, where we would only speak in English. It might not be the perfect English, but that practice over a period of time is what got us fluent to be able to speak today. Today, my dad lectures in English.
Oh, okay.
He's a lecturer at CIPM. He's an HR professional.
Right.
He lectures in English. He delivers speeches in English. I am an English trainer.
Right.
And my brother is in Australia, but
How did you and your brother
converse? That's a good question again, because my brother had a lot of trouble speaking Sinhala initially.
Okay.
Because we always spoke to him in English. I remember up until he was about 6-7 years old, we used to make fun of him because he couldn't speak Sinhala. He used to have that very posh accent, like Mama, Ada, Kanawa. We used to laugh at him. But he obviously picked up Sinhala. But he started school also in English medium. I started in Sinhala medium. And he and I, for the most part, I would say we converse in English, even to this day.
Right. When you said about speaking Sinhala in posh, I can remember there's this one workshop we had to go. So while we were traveling, we wanted it to be hilarious and very memorable. So we were singing different songs, and then we had to sing this Mage Kiri Sudu Hawa. So since we were in a very posh school, and also we wanted to sing it very posh, so we said, Mage Kiri Sudu Hawa, Pana Pana Awa. It was hilarious, and everybody joined and sang in the same style. And after this, up to date, They sing it like that.
That's a fun experience. So actually, I have a similar experience. We went to, I told you, I went to Valimana,
Okay,
right? I went
yeah.
to Valimana and we stayed at this very nice resort.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was a Jetwing resort.
Oh, okay.
And so the gentleman who was cooking, the chef, he was a Tamil gentleman and he was very familiar with my boss
Oh,
who I
okay.
went with. And so now when we all came, the boss just as a prank said, "Oh, this is my friend from India. He only speaks English. He can't understand Sinhala." Now that entire trip, we were there for 5 days. I couldn't speak a word in
Not
Sinhala
Sinhala.
because if that fellow sees, I'm in a lot of trouble. So I would put on this fake English accent. "Hey, how are you, mate? Good day." And I would speak in that accent the whole time I was there. That was hilarious. So up until this day, I mean, if I go there, I'm pretty sure he'd think I'm from India and I'm a foreigner.
You didn't speak like the Indians speak.
No, I tried not to do that because I couldn't pull it off for long. To be so fake. At least with the Australian accent, I could keep it up. Oh, it was funny.
Yes.
But yeah, coming back to
That question. So it depends. If children want to be, if they are exposed to English, then definitely they can pick it up. But otherwise, they are going to be stagnated, find it difficult, especially when, see, some kids, they want to learn how to speak English. But to speak English, they need to know the basics, right? At least the tenses. So when you do these tongue twisters, they are at a loss. She says seashells on the seashore. Rings a bell.
of course.
So they think it's highly silly.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So the per, we have to correct their pronunciation and, make it clear, clarity, enunciation. To do all that, they expect you to do within like 1 month, 2 months and done with it, which is difficult. So exposure to English and you want to pick up? Yes. But if you have not had any interest or exposure, then it's very, very difficult.
Do you find it easy to teach? I don't know if you have experience teaching adults, but do you think you have? Do you think it's easy to teach adults or children comparatively?
Children.
Children, why?
They're like sponges. They can absorb. They're very flexible. You can bend them wherever they want, however you want. They're ready to learn. But adults are not like that. Adults, they question you. They kind of fall back. They take interest for about 1 or 2 weeks. And then they kind of don't want to be bothered. But children are not like that. You give them an activity and say, okay, next week we are going to do something like this, like a role play and all that. And then maybe an action song, a poem, speech. They love it. Or we are going to watch a TED Talk for children. And they would love it. They would like to imitate somebody, mimic someone, miming. Those things they love. But adults don't want to do that. So it's a bit difficult. It's really hectic. I think I can ask you that question. How do you feel teaching adults?
See, I feel the difference is this. To me, I've always found that adults who come for classes, they come out of a professional interest.
Right.
Someone wants to further their career. They want to get a promotion. They want to face an interview. So now they have a specific purpose as to why they want to learn. But again, like you said, there are people who are motivated for about 2 weeks and then drop off. I mean, you've seen that in the session we are in at the moment as well. With kids, I think it's a bit different because kids are not sure why they're there. So you have to take that conscious effort to put in extra thought into, okay, what are the activities I'm going to do? If I do this, will they be interested? It's not even out. I can do an activity with a group of adults. I can tell them this is the learning outcome. It's boring, but you have to do it anyway because you're going to learn this. And you'll still do it because you're like, okay, I'm here to learn. I don't care whether it's boring or fun. Obviously, if it's fun, it'll retain you for longer.
True.
But still, you're going to come regardless. Whereas the kid, they're going to think, this is boring. I don't want to do what this teacher is saying. And I mean, now I think both Horizon and Gateway, they're international schools, yes? With local government schools, a big problem, especially, I don't know about girls' schools, but I know boys' schools. One of the biggest problems that teachers in general have is controlling a group of 40, 45 students. Did you have that experience?
No,
No.
we normally take around 25 to 28 children per class, not more
Okay.
than that. But
Let
I know my daughter had 50 in her school, in her
Wow.
class,
Which school?
Visaka.
Oh wow, okay. That's tough, isn't
50,
it?
yeah.
50
50,
students,
50
controlling 50
students.
students is tough. And especially when it's a group of crazy ADHD boys, it's really tough.
True.
Because the pranks we used to play on our teachers, I mean, my
You would
friend
have
and
played.
I used to, we were talking about it yesterday and we were saying, we are so lucky as teachers to not get the karma that we
You
gave
would
some
get
of our
somebody.
teachers back in the day, right? Because some of the things we did was insane, right? And
That is
so,
true. Nowadays, children won't even think of something like that.
which is good.
Yeah, good, but yeah, which is good.
You seem like you want to disagree.
Yeah, the thing is this. Now, y'all played prank, y'all did this, y'all did so many things, but still y'all learned, right? But nowadays, children, they don't want to learn.
Mm.
They don't want to be bothered. If they don't like a particular teacher, they'll take the back seat and do whatever they want. From what I have heard from children who come to my class, certain children say, no, he's not interested because he's into some other side.
Mm.
It can be into alcohol, it can be into drugs,
Oh.
it can be to a lot of things with technology. And they wait to go run back home because they are going to be all alone at home.
Mm.
So you can imagine. Now, for you, it was not like that. For me, it was not like that. We had our parents at home. But nowadays, children don't have parents at home.
It's I would say it's not even nowadays. I think even back when we were in school or when you were in school, there were groups of students.
Yeah.
There were students who did do a lot of, played pranks and were naughty, but still they
Still,
gave attention to education.
yeah, true.
But then there were others who were doing their own thing anyway. I think I wouldn't say that's a generational problem. It's more of a problem that has been there more often than not. But with each generation of teachers, when they encounter new problem, they say
Yeah,
it like this is the first time that they're going through it.
Yeah.
But something I've noticed is every single generation. When my dad talks about his school age and the pranks that they played with their teachers, it's just as
Yeah,
crazy as
crazy.
ours.
That's true.
Right.
Even the fashion, I would say the same, right?
Yeah, my dad's also a Peterite. So he went to
Okay.
the same school as me.
Right.
So I think whatever they
They
started has
started-
continued down the line.
And it's still continuing.
Still continuing. So coming back to the question, I think children, to me, I put in a lot more effort when I'm trying to create a lesson plan or I'm trying to think of what to teach children. So for me, the effort is a lot more. I wouldn't say it's harder. I would just say the effort I put into thinking of the activities. I do a lot of research. I watch a lot of videos to understand, okay, what's a game that these kids will enjoy? Because the moment I introduce, now for example, in my speech and drama class, I like to start off with a game. I'd play a game like Kings, or I'd play like a game like Fizz Buzz Boing, or something like that to energize the children.
Right.
Now, the moment I introduce a new game that is not something they're familiar with, they're like, Ayo, I want to play the old one and all of that. When I introduce and if they like it and it's a hit,
Yeah.
now they're interested. They're like, oh, uncle, let's do this again. Let's do this next week. But if I, to my bad luck, introduce something they don't like, they're like, uncle, it's the worst game ever. We don't want to play it again.
Right.
So that is there.
Yeah.
Whereas with a group of adults, I know whatever I say, they will do because they know, okay, there is a learning curve here. So regardless of whether this is really fun or not, I will learn something.
Yeah. True.
So to me, it's a different experience.
So when we learn a lot of certain things in class, we learn about idioms, proverbs, and all, right? Does it ring a bell when I say grass is greener?
The grass is green on the other side, yes.
On the other side,
Yeah.
there's another part that you add.
I remember this.
When you decide
Yes, to
to
water
water
it.
it.
That is true. The grass is greener on the other side when you decide to water it. Correct.
Yes. So what do you
That is
think
true.
about that idiom?
That is true. That is true. I mean, it's a personal preference, right? Now, for you, you enjoy the kids a lot more, and to adults, you don't like the fact that they I'm not sure. So you said that they like to question a bit too
Yeah.
much. They're not willing to bend. They're not willing to adapt to what is being taught. Whereas kids absorb things as a sponge. For me, I'm not looking at it from a perspective of what is hard and what is not. It's just that I put more effort into teaching kids and into planning lessons for kids than I do for adults. With adults, I feel it's a lot more easier to get along with them,
Yeah, true.
and you can talk about things that you and them are already familiar with. It's a lot
So,
easier.
like I said, the opportunities here are quite a lot, right? Lot of people they want to go abroad. Kids want to go abroad. Parents want to go abroad. But what do you think? Should they go abroad or should they stay here? Would they have a better opportunity?
That really depends. It depends on a lot of things, because I can't directly say it's great to stay here, because I'd be hypocritical because my brother is in Australia right now.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, okay.
And at the same time, I can't say it's great to go there, because I know I have friends in Australia, France, UK, USA who have been through a lot and who don't necessarily enjoy the lifestyle there. I had a friend who was in Australia. He was working 3 jobs because his mother couldn't send him money from Sri Lanka, so he had to sustain himself.
Right.
And he was working a lot of odd jobs. He was sleeping in his car. He had to study. He had no friends. He went into depression, and he was forced to come back. He bounced his life around by getting more tenacious, applying to US. He's doing really well in the States. But when he was in Australia, he was going through a very, very tough time. Out of all my friends that have been abroad, there is only one friend that I know that has really succeeded. He has got his PR, he's settled, he's doing well. Again, when I look at my friends in Sri Lanka, I know a lot of people who are struggling now with the work situation. You join a company, you have to wait about 15 years in a company to get to a position where you're stable. Now, if you don't have the financial backing at home to sustain those 15 years, then you're in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
I would say it depends on what you're good at. For me personally, I wouldn't want to go and settle abroad, because I know in Sri Lanka, the opportunities for me are massive.
Okay.
And for someone that, let's say, for example, you want to get into tech or you want to get into finance, if you feel the opportunities are better abroad. Now, I have students in my classes who are doing, they are molecular scientists, they are doing biology. For these kind of subjects, sometimes there are no opportunities in Sri Lanka. I have a friend who does aeronautical engineering. He wants to do aeronautical design. So he says there's no jobs here. You have to go abroad to find a job. So it would depend. I wouldn't say go abroad for the sake of it. If you're going abroad, have a plan of what you want to do and what you want to achieve. Go and work for that plan. If you're going to stay here, the same theory applies. If you don't have a plan, if you don't know what you're going to do, you're going to be lost anyway. Right? So wherever you are, you need to have a plan.
How did you start? I mean, after you did your A levels, how did you end up with the Success Academy?
Is this podcast you interviewing me or me interviewing you? What is happening?
No, I'm curious to know.
Okay, yeah. I know. It's good. That's very good. All right, you're a good teacher. I can see you. You know how to take the conversation. All right. So, so after I left school, I got selected to local university, but I knew I didn't want to do business management as a career. I didn't want to get into a company and work. So I was adamant that I didn't want to get into local university.
Right.
I did commerce for A levels also because I knew I could pass very easily, which allowed me to do all my extracurriculars without stressing too much on studies.
Right.
That's why I did commerce. And my mother's dream for me was that I get into Jayawardhanapura University,
Okay.
which I did.
Right. Okay.
Now the tough part was convincing her that I didn't want to go to Jayawardhanapura University.
Even though you got selected.
And the worst part was she was a lecturer there also.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So she had all the pull she needed to get me in there. So now I obviously got in through merit, through my results. And then I told her, look, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to local uni. And she was saying, no way, you have to go. She got the I think it was the dean or the vice chancellor, some big person to call me and convince me that this is the right pathway for me and so on. But I was not convinced at all. And then my dad has a twin brother who lives in the UK.
Okay.
He's an academic. So he called me and he tried to convince me. I convinced him why this is not the best path for me. And then he tried to convince my father why this is not the best path for me. So then my parents were like, okay, like, what do you want to do? So I said, I'm not entirely sure, but I want to do something teaching related. And they were not very happy with that because in their minds, teaching is not the best career for a man. But like, okay, teaching's great if you're a lady, it's a good career to have, but if you're a man, it's not the best. And I told them, look, it doesn't matter. Let me at least try it out and see where it goes. And they still said, okay, you have to do a degree and it has to be in business management. So I said, okay, I'll do it part-time at a private university. And I started working at Gold FM.
Oh, okay.
I remember I got the chance to work at MAS and I got the chance to work at Gold FM on the same day. So I went to MAS one day and then I told them I'm not coming back against my parents' wishes again. I went to Gold FM. That I really loved the working structure there. I loved the fact that I got to be on radio. I really enjoyed that process. And in this time, I was also doing my degree. So then I thought, okay, now working in a radio station is not enough. I need to do other things to earn some money. So I started working at different places. I was doing copywriting, marketing, whatever I could get my hands on, I was doing. And then after I completed my degree, I got into a private company as a salesperson.
Okay.
That was the most horrible 6 months of my entire life.
That is at IDM.
I don't want to mention the company because I'm not going to say anything good about it.
Okay.
Okay. So I got into the company and I was doing sales. They were very nice people. The people in the company was very nice. They made the environment very good. But for me, being stuck in one place doing sales from 9 to 5, that was depressing. I remember I used to drive to work I had to be at work at 8:30. I used to sit in my car till 8:28 because it takes me 2 minutes to walk to the office. I would go exactly at 8:30, I'd clock in. Exactly at 5, I'd be out. I hated it. And I was scared to leave because I didn't want to disappoint my parents yet again. I didn't want them to think that I got kicked out or whatever. But I thought, okay, at the same time, let me start doing something on the side that I actually enjoy. And I started English teaching. I got 2 or 3 students from the local neighborhood. I started teaching them.
Okay. That's how you started.
And I started to enjoy that. And then about 3 months into this company, I was really, really fed up with life. So I thought, okay, let me match the salary I'm making here with my teaching. If I can do that, I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
About 5.5 months in, I was probably in the worst mental state I've ever been in my life. And even at home, I wasn't the person I was with. I'm usually a very cheery, happy-go-lucky guy. And at home now, I was slamming doors. I was angry at my parents all the time. Because in my head, it's like, I'm here because of you and it's all your fault. And then I remember one day I went to office and I got a message from my father. Both, I think my father and mother had typed it together. And it said, Puta, make any decision you want, we support you. Oh. I got up, I went and told my boss, bye-bye. I was like, I'm out. And yes, that's how...
That one message.
That one message, that changed everything. Because to me, I didn't want to disappoint my parents because I felt like I had disappointed them earlier.
So they would have also realized.
They would have also realized it. And to me, that was the best message I've ever got from them. And then I got into teaching, I would say at that time, full time, because I started looking for students, I started doing some marketing. And then 2 of my friends got together with me and they said, hey, let's do this in a big way. And so one of my friends helps me with marketing, another one helps me with sales.
Okay.
Now we've grown into a bit of a bigger team, but all of us together, we grew this into what it is today. So we've done spoken English. IELTS training was our biggest market for some time.
Right.
And now public speaking training is something we do.
How did you come up with the name?
The Success Academy. So the word success was something I always aspired to have. I wanted people to say, hey, look at Shashan, he's a successful guy. That's how I initially came up with it. I thought, hey, one day I want to be someone that is known as a successful person. And I also thought, okay, this word success, it's something that's going to be repeated again and again and again and again in everybody's conversations. And it's a word that I can easily use to drive my message into the minds of people.
Oh, that's how you came up with that name.
So I thought, okay, this is a good way to go about it. And yeah, that's
So
how
how
it
did
came
your
about.
parents react to that?
They were supportive. They were very supportive. I would say once my parents, see, my mom especially is a very determined woman. When she sets her mind to something, she
That's
does
it.
it. That's it. So when she set her mind that, okay, now her son is a teacher, she was like, okay, I'm going to support him fully. And she has not backed down from that since then.
Right.
My father is also very supportive. He has always been supportive. And I think the two of them together, they've helped me throughout my journey. It's been fantastic.
Wow.
So I do work for another company now. But again, the reason I'm able to work there is because they offer me a lot of flexibility. My boss is a friend. When he started off, he was my boss.
Right.
But now we've had a more cordial relationship. And he gives me a lot of flexibility. He knows I run this, then this is my main thing. So because of that, I'm able to manage both. And
So how do you see when you were then, and how do you see yourself now, and how do you see yourself in the future
in what aspect would you say?
when it comes to public speaking?
I think you've seen a couple of my earlier videos. No, I think for me,
The growth has been quite
quite big,
big,
quite big.
right?
Because
I've seen few of your videos, how you started with certain words, how you pronounce it and all that, and now how you are with public speaking. So what are your plans for the future? Is it going to be on a different level, or you're trying to grow it or expand it?
for sure, so even when I first started, I was always, in my own way, I was a confident speaker. I was never afraid of what people would think or say or whatnot. Even when we first started off posting content on social media, a lot of people fear the backlash they would get if they do the wrong thing, when people post negative comments. Fortunately for me, I had a set of friends that had always made fun of everything I do. So for me, any sort of
Okay, so
external backlash meant
criticism.
nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's just and I'm not saying that in a bad way.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
friends
I
are the best friends in the world, and how we interact and how we have fun. And as boys, we just make fun of each other all the time.
Right.
Right? And so the worst thing you could possibly say about me has already been said by my best friend.
But
And so
doesn't that contribute when you're part of a interact club or maybe drama? Yeah?
for sure. So most of these friends that I made are
Are from
through
there.
being in those clubs and societies, Interact, Drama. I was a prefect at schools. The prefects at that time are still some of my best friends. They are the ones that helped me with the business as well.
Was there debating as well?
I did debating for some time, but so debating was a part of our English Literary and Drama Society. So I was a part of the ELDS. Drama was what I loved. Debating was something that we revived in school after, I think, a lapse of about 10 years. We took part in a couple of competitions. Now debating is going strong, but at that time, we didn't have a lot of opportunity to get into debating. So I did a couple of debates here and there, but nothing in a
Nowadays,
major
children
way.
have a lot of opportunities, right?
For sure.
Unlike for us.
For sure.
I think when we were leaving, school was developing.
Yes.
And now schools are still developing.
I think it's a constant learning curve,
Yeah.
isn't it? There are new, I mean, look at AI and how AI has changed everything in schools. Now, every classroom in our school has a smart board, right? And the things that you can do with that
It's marvelous.
is limitless. As a teacher, how important is it to be creative when you're trying
is
to
very
approach to
important.
students?
See, when you're cooking also, you need creativity, right? When you're an artist also, you need creativity.
Yes.
If not for creativity, you will be in that same box.
Yes.
You will never think out of the box.
Correct.
So you see, even if I have 25 years of experience, and if I have the same mentality as I had so many years ago, then the children will not come to me at all. I have to have a change of mindset, plus I have to develop my creativity. See, even when I cook at home, see, until last month we were cooking. I used to cook this curry temper something, boil something, and give a variety for my son to take for work. And I had to give 2 boxes, mind you, not 1 box. So I actually got fed up of cooking, right? I go on Sundays and I buy the same thing. And I decided I'm just going to turn a little bit to the Western side. I want to become a bit creative. So I bought all these bell peppers, gherkins, a little bit of cauliflower. Now broccoli is available, broccoli, and so on and on. And I started to cook. I told my son, no more Sri Lankan dishes for some time. I'm going to create something, you see whether you like. Because he actually, what he does is he takes this food and shares with his friends. And they all loved it. So when you put those bell peppers, it gives a lot of color. And when you deep fry the egg in a little bit of oil, it gives a nice brownish golden color. And when you put this into the lunchbox, it's really nice. So creativity is very important. Whether you are a teacher, whether you're an artist, whether you're a chef, it's really necessary. Even for you, public speaking, for you to do a Zoom class even online. If you didn't have your creativity, you think you could have done it? No,
Impossible.
right?
Impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
I like what you did this week. On Thursday, you did about different quotes. That was really nice. I would say, people came up with something and some got stuck, but, that was creativity about Shah Rukh Khan, Muhammad Ali. Yeah. So, see, creativity is necessary. Otherwise, we are going to do the same thing over and over and it's going to be very boring. And that's the reason why children like anime and all that. Because there's a lot of creativity there. And Japanese people are very creative. I mean, with something small, they create something big. And so interesting. It doesn't have to be complicated. Simple but nice.
Now, you are an English teacher, and obviously your English is on an exceptional level. What prompted you to want to look for a public speaking program?
Well, the thing is this. Although I do spoken English, I have my license yet, and I've been a teacher of English for many, many years. Public speaking has not given me that bold step to go front because I think the way I have been brought up. So, as I was telling you some time back, my father was a very strict person. I could never do tennis, I could never do badminton, I could do any sport. I wanted to join the Interact Club. My father had no say, would say no way. I had no say.
Yeah.
And it was terrible for me, life as a teenager. So if I was asked to do something in school, I used to say can't. And then when there was a time where there was a concert and they would ask me to come forward and speak, I would say can't. My father won't allow. By 2, I had to be at home. So choir practices, yes, on and off, he would allow me because if he had work. But I had to be at home by 2. If I was not at home, he would bring the roof down. So I guess I didn't meet much people. The people, I mean, I had my cousins and all that, but the exposure was very less. I mean, I used to hear friends saying about the Interact clubs and that party, this party, and all the parties in the world, especially the rugby parties. And I could never go for any of those. So I think I didn't have that exposure to get on to a stage even. And I can remember I was asked to get onto stage for a prize giving at school. And it was so difficult for me. I didn't have to speak though. I had to just, give the certificates. But that was also difficult. So my daughter hopes to get married next year. And I want to give a speech. And so I thought, why not? This is the biggest drawback I have, or the weak point I have. Make my weak point a strength and see what I can do. If I can make a difference, so be it. If I can't, then I know I tried at least. So yes, that's how I came to you.
Do you think you can deliver the speech confidently now?
Yes, why not?
So,
See,
yeah.
when I look at myself and those videos we used to give for homework, oh my God, I used to. I mean, 6, 7 times I used to, try it, and then you used to say, go in front of a mirror. For me, looking in the mirror and seeing my reflection was terrible. I used to look at myself, and then I was like, no way, am I going to look at myself again? It looks hideous. It looks hilarious at times. But later, after your feedback and your suggestions, and I think you had more confidence in me than I had confidence in myself. And I think now at least I can look at myself in the mirror and smile at least. Those days I used to just turn myself away. But yeah, now I can just say something back and say, why not? I mean, like you said, if you're going to be conscious of what people are going to say, then you are never going to do it.
Absolutely.
So why not just go for it? Forget what people might think, but just do it.
Would you say that that is the most important thing you have taken away from the class, or is there something else?
No, that would be it. I mean, you should put say that charge of the life brigade. I think I made 3 attempts, right?
Yes.
I mean, if it was another time, I wouldn't have done it. But I knew the positive suggestions that you would give will help me to be able to be more creative and all that. And that's how I came up with it for the 3rd time. But I think I have practiced about 10 times. That's another story. But yeah, I think I feel more confident on myself. Otherwise, I don't think I would be able to sit right here.
That is fantastic. So, some of the activities we do, for example, the poetry recitals, the monologues. Now, you as a teacher might appreciate it a lot more,
Yeah.
but we have people coming in from the corporate sector and so on who might think, hey, this is really, really silly. Like, what are we doing? What would you say? Do you think that these activities do help you to a certain extent? Or do you think is it nonsensical? What is your thought, opinion on it?
No, it definitely helps, especially when they are rhyming poems. I mean, learning a poem is really good, isn't it? I mean, we as children also learn poems. So why not as adults? I mean, it's not about stories. Poems are also part of our lives. Sometimes a person might not know how to write a poem, but learning a poem might inspire him to write a poem of his own. You never know, right? If someone listens to someone's story and gets inspired, obviously that has a reflection on the other person. Might. Me or might. But it depends on who takes it in a particular way.
How do you think these skills from poetry recitals, acting, translates into your ability to speak in public?
I would say it takes a lot of courage, right? So it depends on your preference. And if you decide to do what's best for you, I'm sure you will go ahead with any of those. Or select one of the things that you're comfortable with. Try your luck and see. Now I have seen how the others have tried. I've seen the first classes, and now I see that they are also catching up with the different styles, variation, techniques. Yeah.
How I find this very useful is, see, when you have to deliver a poem or a speech or an act,
Yeah.
you have to bring out a lot of expression.
True.
And this is what a lot of people lack when it comes to delivering corporate presentations or when they have to speak to an audience. They are very monotonous.
True.
Aside from the fact that it takes a lot of courage and you have to face people's criticism and so on, it also takes a lot of expression and emotion to convey a message to an audience. To me, I think that that is what I try to bring out in students when I give those activities. How helpful or unhelpful do you think it has been so far to you?
It has been very helpful. I mean, I think it has benefited me a lot. If not, I don't know. If it was like, okay, do this, do this. If you had said like that, I mean, I don't think any of us would have fallen in line with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But you doing all that, the gestures, and then you giving us the breathing techniques.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But that breathing technique, that one thing you gave, that interesting fact was marvelous. I went
Which
into
one was that?
why people smoke.
Oh, yeah. So that, interestingly enough, that was not a part of my original presentation.
Oh, okay.
Right? So now I had obviously learned this from another teacher.
Oh, okay.
And I'm obviously in touch with the examining body. I have their syllabus. So I had made the slides according to their syllabus structure.
Right.
And I was watching this speech, a TED talk.
Ah, okay.
And this person brought up that example, and that struck with me. And I was like, wow, I have a lot of friends who smoke. And I've seen them do exactly what this person says. They take in such a big deep breath. And when I asked them, and I've asked all my friends, like, why do you smoke? And they always say, Masha, you won't understand. It's the peace you get. I feel so relaxed whenever I'm stressed, whenever I'm prepping for an exam. When I smoke, I feel so much at peace. And this speaker said the exact reason why they feel at peace is not necessarily because of the nicotine, but it's because of how well they breathe when they smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. I asked a few as well.
Yeah.
And they all agreed, and they were like, why you started smoking? I said, no, I haven't. You want one? I said, no. I got to know that it is this. How come you didn't want to smoke or go in that path of smoking?
I tried it once or twice, but it was not something that really appealed to
So
me.
when you are with a group of friends and they're all smoking, you're able to say no.
Of course. I mean, when I was in school and just out of school, when all my friends were drinking, I like to have a drink. But smoking is not something that really piques my interest. I breathe well. I don't have to.
That I can see. That I can see very well. So, yeah. So I was telling them, this is what we learned, and these are the few techniques we learned, and this was one of them, and that is the reason why it's not only nicotine that helps you, it's the deep breathing.
Absolutely.
It's like, wow, that was an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, now I ask a lot of students to watch podcasts. I think we spoke about this on Thursday. Watch podcasts, watch TED Talks. I mean, the amount of things that I learn and I input to my teaching is immense. Because something that I like to do is when I'm traveling, I like to put on Bluetooth and I like to listen to these podcasts and TED Talks when I'm walking. People think we don't have time to do these things.
Yeah.
But in reality, there are things where you do that you can also multitask while doing that specific thing. Working out, traveling, these are great instances to listen to something and educate yourself. And the more you educate yourself, I think as a teacher, it's very easy to put out that information. As a speaker, having information on the top of your head is very important because then you know what questions to ask, how to speak, how to tell a story. And I think storytelling has been something big that I have been pushing in my classes.
That's true. See, when it comes to language learning, a lot of children struggle with the English and Sinhala. But see, when you're in a background where Sinhala is spoken, you should be able to speak that language. But a lot of children struggle with that as well.
Of course.
And when I was on the estate, my husband at that time was a planter. And for 12 years, I was on an estate, on a tea estate. And, I had to know my Tamil. And I didn't know a single word of Tamil. Even though in school we learned, I didn't know. I have forgotten. I didn't know even how to write Amma in Tamil. So when I wanted something done out of these people, the Appu, the gardener, I could never communicate. So I knew I had to learn the language. When I asked them to bring milk, they bring me a cow. So you can imagine. I wanted a needle, and then they are lost what I want a needle for. So basically, I learned to speak Tamil. And I was very fluent until I came to Colombo. Now it's like dying inside me because I have no one to speak to.
And that is what I brought up in my classes as well, right? For the 4 months of the program, you do a lot of work and you practice because I ask you to. What happens after those 4 months?
Yeah, you stop.
You stop. And that's the key thing. Anything, people think, I can learn to speak English in 2 months or 3 months. The reality is, even I'm constantly learning. You're constantly,
Yeah.
you've been teaching for 27 years. And I'm sure you are still learning new vocabulary, new
Definitely.
ideas, new ways of teaching. There are always things to learn, right? And when it comes to a language, you're never done learning. And that's the important thing. The moment you stop practicing, all the progress you
Yeah.
made just goes out the window.
So that's what I also think. If I stop teaching,
You lose that
yeah,
touch for
I
sure.
lose that touch. I will not know from where to start again. So that's what I want to give my fullest potential that I have and my experience until I can to teach while I can. See, even in my class, I don't take more than 5. And everybody asks, can I have a leaflet? Can I have? I said, no, it's word of mouth. I have only 5 children in a class for 2 hours, not more than that. Then otherwise it becomes another classroom. The children are not going to talk to you. There's a child who doesn't talk at all in school. And then I ask, when the teacher asks, what do you say? I just say yes or no, and that's it. So she comes and asks me questions. So I said, why can't you ask the same thing? Then she said, no, I feel very embarrassed to talk in class. So that's the reason why I have only 5, and I try to do to my best of ability to, deliver what I have to do.
That is also why I started a physical ongoing class. So the premise of this is anyone can come at any time they want. We have classes going all year round. You can come and practice, and even if you don't actually speak in front of an audience the first 4 or 5 times you're there, you're still with a group of people that are trying to speak well, that will come in front of a stage, use a mic and speak in front of an audience. That constant immersion will get them out of their shell, because now they're seeing, hey, this guy is speaking, my friend is speaking, he's speaking. Why am I the only one that's silent here? Let me also get up on stage and speak.
True.
I'm sure you've heard this quote, you are a sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
Yeah.
And if you hang out with people that are constantly doing things, now you are competitive, you are compelled to do that as well.
True. That is so true. So that's what I thought. Next Sunday, maybe come to one of your physical class and see what's going on and see how I also can contribute to it.
For sure. I would love to have you there.
Yeah. So let's see how it goes. So during we have another 2 more months, right?
We have about 1.5 months more, yes. Super. So it has been a pleasure having you here.
Likewise.
Before we wrap up today, you have been in my classes for a considerable amount of time now. Would you recommend it to someone else? And what's the biggest takeaway you have got from my sessions?
Definitely, I will recommend it to anyone who is out there scared of stage fright. Please come to Shashank. He will do the needful, right? The Success Academy, they actually do a good job. Actually, even I didn't want to join, but now I'm happy I did, because you can learn a lot. There's so much of things you don't know, you think you know, but trust me, it will make your life completely different if you can come for at least few of his sessions. And then you might realize, where have I been? Under a rock?
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here today.
It's a pleasure being here, and thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure.
It was great speaking to you.
Thank you everyone for watching the video today. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let us know your comments down below. Share this with a friend. Until our next video, keep practicing.